Sir, first give your introduction without mentioning your name and caste.
Okay, sir. Sure, sir. So I am 24 years old. I have done my schooling, higher secondary schooling from Guwahati itself, from Army Public School. And in 2019, sir, I have completed my graduation. I have done my graduation in BCom Honours from Sri Ram College of Commerce, Delhi University. And since then, sir, I have been preparing for civil services. And so in the last 1.5 years, I have taken up chess, sir, as a pastime hobby, as one of my hobbies, sir.
So, my questions is very clear. Why do you want to join civil service?
Yes, sir. I always want to have certain kind of agency in life, like agency to have some impact or some kind of change. I do not want to be, sir, among those who sit behind and just be cynical about things. And I think, so civil services is exactly the kind of platform which would give you a certain amount of impact, a certain amount of diversity of your work, so that you can go ahead and you can initiate certain amount of agencies in life. Also, sir, I believe civil services, it encompasses, sir, a lot of things I want in life, starting from, sir, job security, from sir, social prestige, or most importantly, sir, job satisfaction, I think, which has been widely missing in so many other work profiles. I think those are, sir, the primary reason why I want to join civil services, sir.
So rather than job seeker, or not, whether you are interested or not in job giver.
Yes, sir. So, sir, one of my, not exactly dream, but one of my mission. So when I was in Delhi University, there was an immense collaboration of industry and university, sir. For example, there were companies like Connecting Dream Foundation who used to come to our colleges. They used to teach us social entrepreneurship. They used to teach us to how to initiate certain projects for society.
You have no faith on Atmanirbhar or Swanyojan?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Sir, so I think that kind of initiatives I want to implement for our youth so that their productivity is enhanced, and I think that would be my contribution, sir, if I am able to join civil services.
Sir, tell us, what is the difference between strategy and tactics?
Sorry, sir?
Strategy and tactics.
Strategy and tactic. Sorry, sir, I don't know the technical, like the difference, but I think strategy is mostly it's used in a general form where there are it's mostly multidimensional strategy. When you talk of strategy, there are long-term strategy, there are long-term, short-term strategies. But when we talk of tactics, I think it's very specific, discipline specific. Like for example, a particular military tactic, or I think strategy would be a set.
Sir, I will give you a hint to make it easy for you. Strategic missile and tactical missile. Now you can answer the question. Leave that. Strategy is something which is long-term. Tactic is short-term. That is simple difference. So you will stay in the hostel, yes, in SRCC?
No, sir. I have taken up, like with some of my colleagues, I used to take a rent. Since hostel it's very difficult, sir, to get.
Where do you stay? Vijayanagar, Mukherjee, where?
Sir, I used to stay in Old Gupta, sir.
Old Gupta colony. So you choose philosophy. Did you get a coaching for philosophy?
Yes, sir, I did take coaching, sir, from Delhi, sir. From Mitra's IS, there's a coaching academy. In Delhi, I took coaching from philosophy.
So how is this philosophy going to help you in your career? Does it have any role to play?
Yes. So I believe philosophy, sir, it has a huge role in the coming future, sir. And today, sir, when I look into certain degrees in the Western universities, I see so many questions which has philosophical bent of mind. So even civil services, one of the subjects introduce ethics. So it is also a branch of philosophy. So I think, sir, philosophy makes you more tolerant. It makes you answer certain questions which are so very prominent in your life, sir. So if I may give an example, for example, sir, driverless cars. Sir, all of the engineering of driverless cars, it has been completed and it's been quite some time. But I think the primary question behind driverless car, for example, if a car is moving and if a girl, there's the owner of the car is sleeping behind and a girl comes out like in front of the car, what should the car do? Should the car save the owner or should the car save the girl? So I think those are the questions which needs to be answered, and for that people need to have philosophical bent of mind or answer certain ethical dilemmas which are there currently in our society. So I think philosophy going forward will play a very immense role. I think all engineers, for example, all the technological world, they need to know what philosophical aspects a particular invention has. I think that would make our societies more stable and it would be more progressive then, sir.
Then what is the difference between Indian philosophy and Western philosophy?
Yes, sir. So primarily, sir, difference is, sir, Indian philosophy is more spiritualistic in nature. It focuses more on the Atma, more on the soul and the universe. Whereas, sir, Western philosophy, after a point of time, they started focusing on language, on what are the sources of knowledge, or how do we know knowledge, or what are the aspects of knowledge. So it is less spiritualistic than the Indian philosophy, sir, A. Secondly, I believe, sir, Indian philosophy, there's a strong connection of philosophy with religion. However, sir, Western philosophy, it's not exactly divorced, but there's this kind of a separation we see in Western philosophy from religion primarily. And sir, thirdly, in the modern Western philosophy, sir, the contemporary Western philosophers, they are strictly against, sir, metaphysical speculation, sir. So they do not want to talk about what is God or who is God or why do we need God. They strictly want to talk about, okay, what do we want to do in life? For example, the existentialist philosophers, sir. And whereas Indian philosophy, still today, I think it is very deeply ingrained with metaphysical speculations about how do we know God or what is soul, what is chit, and all those things, sir. I think these are the primary difference.
Then whether Indian or Western, which one you like most?
Sir, I am very fond of Indian philosophy because I think, so philosophy, sir, is a subject which helps you answer a lot of questions. So I think certain answers about God, about soul, about universe, even though you do not consider it like absolutely correct, but it's interesting and it gives you more satisfaction to read those kind of philosophies, like primarily the Indian philosophy, sir. So I think I am more fond of Indian.
এজন ফিলোসফারের নাম কয় ইন্ডিয়ান যার তোমার বহুত ভাল লাগে?
Sir, I think my favorite philosopher is Gautam Buddha, sir. I think yes, sir, Gautam Buddha.
গৌতম বুদ্ধ।
Yes, sir.
কি আছে তাতে তোমার গৌতম বুদ্ধ বহুত ভাল লাগিছে?
So first thing is, sir, he was a very original philosopher, sir. I think at that time, 6th century BC, যেতিয়া Gautam Buddha আহিছিলে, the kind of philosophy যোনটো বুদ্ধাই দিছিলে, sir, it was very revolutionary at that time, sir. Like, he stopped talking about metaphysical things. He didn't he maintained absolute silence, sir, about what is God or how do we reach God. He told that, sir, this world, there are so many problems we have in this world. And it is important for us as human beings to encounter this kind of problems, to encounter the worldly problems. And he gave a very concrete path.
Okay, what is the fundamental lesson we can learn from this philosophy, particularly from the philosophy of Gautam Buddha?
So I think the primary thing about Gautam Buddha's philosophy is what he terms as the pratitya sampati.
মানে মানুহৰ কাৰণে কি দিয়ে মানুহ human being?
So primary learning হয় স্যার কি সব বস্তু যোনখিনি আমাৰ লাইফত যিমান বস্তু আছে সব বস্তু ৰিলেটিভ হয় স্যাৰ সো ইটস ফিলচফিৰ নামটো স্যাৰ প্ৰতীত্য সমুদ্বাদ বুলি কয় থিওৰি অফ ডিপেণ্ডেণ্ট অৰিজিনেশ্যন কি একো বস্তু আমাৰ লাইফত কেতিয়াও ইণ্ডিপেণ্ডেণ্টলি নহয় সবৰ এটা কজ থাকে সেই কজটোৰ এটা কজ থাকে সো আমি যদি সেই পাৰ্সপেক্টিভ দি আমি বস্তুবোৰ চাওঁ কি আজি ধৰক মোৰ কেতিয়াবা সিলেকশ্যন নহ'ল মোৰ কিয় সিলেকশ্যন নহ'ল বা মোৰ কিয় সিলেকশ্যন হ'ল সো এনেকুৱা কজ আৰু ইফেক্ট দি যদি আমি চাই থাকোঁ বস্তুবোৰ আমাৰ ক্লেৰিটি বেছি ভাল থাকিব আমি বেছি টলাৰেণ্ট থাকিম আমি এই ৱৰ্ল্ডলি বস্তুবোৰত বেছি ফ'কাছ নকৰি পিনে আমাৰ ইনাৰ ৱৰ্ল্ডত যোনখিনি আমাৰ প্ৰব্লেমছ আছে আমাৰ ডিজায়াৰ্ছ আছে সেইখিনি বস্তু আমি এনকাউণ্টাৰ কৰিব পাৰিম স্যাৰ আই থিংক সেইটোৱে এটা প্ৰাইমেৰী টিচিং হয় গৌতম বুদ্ধ ফিলচফি
মেডিটেশনস গৌতম বুদ্ধ মেডিটেশনস ইয়াৰ বিষয়ে তুমি কি ক'বা?
Yes, sir. So meditation was a both important aspect of Buddhism philosophy. Meditation and chanting. I think, so meditation at a practice so is also both simple bhagat kole sir. Usually, our mind and body dutai hodai awake thake. Or jetia ami who mane jetia when you go to sleep, our mind to titya awake thake like subconsciously. I think meditation at a enoko bostu hoy. So we tend to give our mind a complete rest. like our mind to kami complete rest diu, absolute thoughtlessness ami prefer koru. And sir, hey thoughtlessness to both important hoy. Janekwa sir, our body energy lage to recharge ourselves. সেইকাৰণে আমি যেতিয়া আমি শু বা আমি ৰেষ্ট লওঁ সেনেকুৱা আমাৰ মাইণ্ডকো এনাৰ্জি লাগে ছাৰ আমাৰ মাইণ্ডকো ৰেষ্ট লাগে যোনটো আমি মডাৰ্ণ ডেত দিব পৰা নাই যোনটো আমি মডাৰ্ণ ডেত বহুত ষ্ট্ৰাগল হয় ছাৰ বিকজ অফ ইমান ৱৰ্কলোড হৈ গ'ল বা ইমান পিয়ৰ প্ৰেছাৰ হৈ গ'ল বহুত ষ্ট্ৰেছেছ আমাৰ আছে চ' এই মেডিটেশ্যন দি সেই বস্তুটো আমি এচিভ কৰিব পাৰোঁ ছাৰ
অ'কে আচ্ছা এইটোতে সুধিছোঁ মই তুমি যিটো বুদ্ধিজিমৰ কথা কৈছা গৌতম ইণ্ডিয়াত কিয় ছাফিচিয়েণ্টলি ছাৰ্ভাইভ কৰিব পৰা নাই ইণ্ডিয়াতে অৰিজিনেটছ ইয়াত ৰজা মহাৰজাৰ পৰাও সহায় পাইছিলে ৰজা মহাৰজাবিলাকেও জড়িত হৈছিলে এটা সময়ত বাট ইন ফিউচাৰ why it is not sufficiently survive in India in comparison to other countries in the neighboring countries কিয় পৰা নাই
So first reason also Buddhism it got divided into various sects so Mahayana হৈ গ'ল Hinayana হৈ গ'ল তাৰপিছত Theravada Buddhism আহি গ'ল সেইকাৰণে স্যাৰ এটা স্ক্ৰিপ্ট মানে প্ৰমিনেন্ট স্ক্ৰিপ্ট ইহঁতে ৰাখিব পৰা নাছিলে যোনটো কাৰণে কি হ'ল স্যাৰ যেনেকুৱা বুদ্ধা ৱাজ ভেৰি এগেইনষ্ট আইডল ৱৰ্শ্বিপ বুদ্ধাই কেতিয়াও নিবিচাৰিছিলে কি মানুহে গডক লৈ ইমান এমফেচাইজ কৰক সদায় নিজৰ প্ৰব্লেমছবোৰ বেছি ফেচ কৰিব বিচাৰিছিলে বাট ইভেঞ্চুৱেলি যেনেকুৱা মহায়ানা বুদ্ধিজম ইট ফ'কাছেছ এ লট অন আইডল ৱৰ্শ্বিপ চ' এটা ৰিজন সেইটো হৈ গ'ল ছাৰ ছেকেণ্ড ৰিজন হৈ গ'ল ছাৰ যেতিয়া লাহে লাহে বুদ্ধিজমটো যেতিয়া বহুত ৱেল্থ আহিব ধৰিলে বহুত কিংছ বহুত ডাইনেষ্টিজে ইহঁতক বহুত পেট্ৰনাইজ কৰিছিলে চ' সেইটো কাৰণে কি হ'ল বহুত ৱেল্থ অহাৰ পিছত সেই যোনটো মেইন ক্ৰাক্স আছিলে বুদ্ধিষ্ট ফিলচফিৰ কি আমি ৱেল্থৰ বিষয়ে ভাবিব নালাগে বা আমি ডিজায়াৰ্ছৰ কথা ভাবিব নালাগে লাহে লাহে ৱেল্থ অহাৰ পিছত সেই বস্তুটো ডিকে হৈ থাকিলে ছাৰ মৰেল কেৰেক্টাৰ হওক বা ইহঁতৰ যোনটো বিহাৰাজ আছিলে যোনটো ইহঁতৰ আশ্ৰমছ আছিলে তাতেও ইহঁতৰ লাইফষ্টাইলটো বহুত আপগ্ৰেড হৈ থাকিলে এটা ৰিজন সেইটো হয় ছাৰ থাৰ্ড ৰিজন ক'ব পাৰোঁ আমি ছাৰ ব্ৰাহ্মণিকেল যোনটো ৰিচাৰ্জেঞ্চ হৈছে ছাৰ আফটাৰ এৰাউণ্ড from the Gupta dynasty, 3rd, 4th century পৰা sir, তেতিয়া Brahminical আকৌ re-insurge হৈছে sir, তেতিয়া Brahminical culture to বহুত holistically আৰু বহুত it was very accommodative sir, I think Brahminical culture যোনটো resurgence হৈছিলে, so এই accommodative culture টোক মানুহে বেছি follow কৰিব ধৰিলে, also sir আৰু এটা reason আছিলে যোনখিনি Buddhist religionsৰ আছিলে, কিছুমান empires আছিলে sir, যোনে বুদ্ধিজমক প্ৰাইমেৰিলি বহুত মানে ডিগ্ৰেড কৰিছে বা বুদ্ধিজমক ট্ৰাই কৰিছে কি বুদ্ধিজম মানে এক্সিকিউশ্যন বুলি ক'ব পাৰোঁ ছাৰ বুদ্ধিষ্ট নানছ হওক বা বুদ্ধিষ্ট বিহাৰাজ হওক ইভেন লেটাৰ ছাৰ মিডিভেলত বহুত মুছলিম ৰুলাৰ্ছ আহিছিলে যোনে বুদ্ধিষ্ট এক্সিকিউশ্যন বা বুদ্ধিষ্ট মনেষ্ট্ৰিজবোৰক ডেষ্ট্ৰয় কৰিছিলে চ' আই থিংক ডেট দ'জ আৰ দ্য প্ৰাইমেৰী ৰিজন ছাৰ কি বুদ্ধিজম কুডেণ্ট ছাৰ্ভাইভ টুডে এজ মাছ
আচ্ছা ঠিক আছে তুমি অসমত বৰ্তমান আটাইতকৈ ডাঙৰ প্ৰব্লেম কি বুলি ভাবা ইকনমিক অৰ পপুলেশ্যন অৰ এনিথিং ফ্ৰম এনি ফিল্ড কি তুমি আটাইতকৈ ডাঙৰ প্ৰব্লেম বুলি ভাবা ছ'চিঅ' ইকনমিক কালচাৰেল এগ্ৰিকালচাৰেল এনি
অ'কে ছাৰ চ' মই বিলিভ কৰোঁ কি আমাৰ অসম প্ৰাইমেৰিলি এটা এগ্ৰিৰিয়ান ইকনমি হয় ছাৰ এণ্ড agrarian economy definitely it is one our base hoy amar economy but I think eta limitation ase sir agrarian economy productivity hok ba per capita income grow kora hok so yes sir so I think since we are a largely agrarian economy we are not able to diversify into industrial development infrastructure development he jonto proportional growth hobo lagisile sir agrarian economy pisot jonto industry bahibo lagisile ba infrastructure services bahibo lagisile hekhini as a state ami man achieve koribo par nai in the last few decades so I think that primarily is I think for me I believe that is the biggest problem
why India is not conceding rather why India cannot concede that Jammu and Kashmir is a disputed territory
Jammu
and Kashmir is disputed territory why you cannot agree
sir I'm so sorry sir Jammu and Kashmir sir sorry sir I'm sorry sir is sir I think as a nation we consider Jammu and Kashmir as an integral part of our nation sir and we have historical reasons for it for example Jammu and Kashmir was historically a part of the Punjab Empire and Punjab Empire they sold it to the British Empire who then sold it to Dogra
I'm just asking a simple question that why in the international legal framework, why India cannot consider that Jammu and Kashmir is a disputed territory?
So I think it's about our integrity as a nation, sir. I think we cannot.
For the simple reason that the moment you concede that this region is a disputed territory, the United Nations will have jurisdiction over that. So the international organizations will start pressurizing you. Right now, Security Council cannot tell you to do anything. United Nations cannot tell you to do a particular thing except for requesting you to settle it amicably. That is the technical reason why India cannot consider it to be a disputed territory. Okay? So tell me, what are the two major irritants between India and Nepal as of now?
So first is the border issue in the Pithoragarh district. It is the Nepal considers the boundary from the west of Kalapani river, and India considers from the east. Yes, sir. So second irritant would be, so I think the disputes of Madhesi people. I think when Nepal made their constitution, they didn't give rights to the Madhesi people, and Madhesi people are, I think, primarily from the Tarai areas, from migrants from Bihar, UP, those regions. I think that is also one of the major conflicts between India and Nepal as of now. And
looking into the situation in which Sri Lanka has landed itself, what steps recently Nepal has done so as to avoid a similar fate vis-a-vis China?
sorry, sir, I'm not so aware about it.
Okay, tell us two recent events where we can see the reflection of Assamese chauvinism. Reflection of Assamese chauvinism. Tell us chauvinism. Tell us two events recently happened.
Sorry, sir, I'm not able to recall currently.
Chauvinism is something in which you inflate yourself. Your ego is pumped up. So, for example, male chauvinist. You must have heard that term. So that is, as he is talking about, has there any been occurrence in the past, in the recent past, which shows here reflects Assamese chauvinism?
Sorry,
He will tell
I'm not
you.
able to recall.
Have you heard Citizenship Amendment Act? So protection क्यों हुई ऐसे?
So primarily the issue with Citizenship Amendment Bill is, sir, so our, yes sir, NRC, yes sir. So our problem is that, sir, since 1971, there's been a lot of migrant influx in the Assamese culture.
नहीं मैं ये कौन नहीं जे ये जितु regionalism sense এই বিষয়টো আমি জানিব বিচাৰিছো এনেকুৱা কিবোৰ ঘটনা ৰিসেন্টলি হৈছে য'ত আমি তেনেকুৱা ৰিজনেলিজম সেন্সটোক আমি বেছি দেখা পাইছো my question is that
Yes, sir. So definitely after CA, after NRC, there was a new party which was formed in Assam, and बहुत खिनी sir protests हो बा बहुत खिनी issues बने related to that.
after immediate independence এনেকুৱা কি ঘটনা হৈছিল অসমত য'ত নেকি আমি তেনেকুৱা ৰিজনেলিজম বা চৌভিনিজম মাইন্ডসেট এটা দেখা পাইছো after immediate independence.
Sir, I think the Assam movement, I think it's one of the greatest, would be the greatest example. Yes, sir. 90. So it was, sir, first reason, I think a lot of influx of migrants were there. Secondly, sir, we were losing our the traditional culture or the traditional language which was being spoken in the region. So I think on those lines, the Assam movement was primary. And also, sir, there was a huge exploitation economically, sir, because...
Do you have any idea about language movement?
Language movement.
Language movement.
So, like, I know, like, the bits and pieces, I don't exactly know when was it held in.
Okay, have you heard about Assam Accord?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
What is this?
So Assam Accord was primarily... Yes, sir. So I'll tell you first what it is. It is basically a treaty between Government of India, then the All Assam Students Union, and also the Assam government. So it was primarily, sir, it delineated certain rigid structures ki ami kenekwa ke ami Okhomor population ba Okhomor migrants unto problem hoy to kenekwa ke sort out korim. So tate duta tinta clause asile. So primarily junto clause hoy ki 1971 or pisot junkhini manu ahise ekhini kami identify korim, ekhini ami accumulate korim, ami terminate koribo try korim. Aru sir aru eta asile I think clause 6 junto koisile ki sir ami legislative, administrative aru judicial measures lom sir to preserve our cultural and safeguard heritage, sir. Also,
indigenous people. Definition of Assamese.
What is the definition of Assamese?
Yes,
Yes, sir.
Can you
Sir, I am a very yes, sir. So for me, of course, anyone who is born and brought up in Assam, but also anyone who has been residing for quite considerable time according to law, and anyone who thinks about the well-being, welfare of Assam and relates to the culture of Assam, I think for me, all of those people are Assamese people, sir. Of course, there might be a lot of differences, but I think going forward...
Sir, okay, last my question. Have you heard about Uniform Civil Code? So, what article it was mentioned?
So it was mentioned in Article 44 of the Constitution. It comes under directive principles of state policy, sir.
Okay, do you agree this is very right time to implement the Uniform Civil Code? That means during the India government, basically it is hard that this is the right time to implement the Uniform Civil Code. But at the time of EPA government, it was not right time. Do you agree?
So I think it has to do less with, sir. Yes, sir.
Why it is said? Why it is said it is right time to implement the Uniform Civil Code? But what about the EPA government? EPA coalition?
So I think it is, as per my view, sir, it has less to do with any kind of governments, but primarily is the Indian society ready for a uniform civil code, sir? And for that we need certain amount of religious conformity or certain amount of religious dialogue which needs to happen, sir. I think a lot of the provisions of civil law today is dealt by the normal legal procedures. But still there are certain aspects of marriage, certain aspects of divorce which are being sorted by uniform civil law. But again, sir, I think judiciary has certain amount of power even today to go ahead and pass a say judgment on certain aspects of uniform which are not under uniform civil law.
তোমার এনেকুৱা লাগে নেকি যে ইউপিএ গভৰ্ণমেণ্টৰ খুব বহুত সৎ মানে ইচ্ছা নাছিল ইউনিফৰ্ম চিভিল কোড আনিবৰ কাৰণে এনেকুৱা লাগে নেকি?
So it's, of course, sir, it's a very sensitive issue, and যেতিয়া আমি যোন technicalities বুজি পাওঁ uniform civil code or তেতিয়া আমি গম পাম it's actually desirable for a country like India, and হেতু কাৰণে maybe constitution এই বস্তুটো লিখা হৈছিলে. But sir, it's also unfair for us কি আমি সবক expect কৰো কি সবে rationally বা সবে technicalities of the law বুজি পায়. So definitely sir, এটা sensitive matter হয়, and maybe it's not the right time yet because এতিয়া বহুত মানুহ বহুত sensitive হৈ গৈছে after social media, after digital media. So maybe আমি বহুত precaution দি পিনে sir step লোৱাটো I think বেছি ভাল হ'ব sir.
Sure.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir.